everybody. Lance Russell with Dave Brown right alongside Corey Macklin. Off again this week, and he'll be back maybe next week, and we'll be looking for him to be right here. Good-looking show today. Couple of major names, Lawler and Dundee. Dave will tell you about it.
Right here, in addition to that, we got a handicap match. We're going to have Miss Texas going against Brandon Baxter and Karen right here in the ring coming up today. Pat Tanaka also is going to be going against Doug Gilbert in a grudge match today.
Boy, that ought to be a good one. And Axel Rotten and Stephen Dunn going at it. We'll be going against Brian Lee and Johnny Rotten. That's going to be a big scramble.
And the Smoky Mountain Wrestling USWA feud, this thing just keeps going and going and going. We'll have some special information regarding PG-13.
Yeah, they were scheduled here today, Dave. Got a call last night about it, and they are not going to be here. And so we'll be telling you more about that. And looking forward to seeing them back together. Jerry Lawler, superstar Bill Dundee will be in a tag match. We'll be back, ready to go with the action in just a moment. Okay, we're ready to go to it. Referee Bill Rush is in there. We have Brandon Baxter and Uptown Karen out here. And here comes a tough little lady out of Dallas, Texas. Miss Texas going in a handicap match against Uptown Karen from Glasgow, Scotland. And Brandon Baxter, who I wish he would go back where he came from, really is whatever I wish.
Yeah, he has been a problem ever since he arrived in the USWA. He will be not in the corner, but in the ring this time. This is a handicap match. Miss Texas is going to have to go against the both of them. The way this situation came about is because in some previous matches against Brandon and against Karen, there had been interference from outside the ring. So what Miss Texas said is, hey, put them both in there so I can keep an eye on them. I don't have to worry about one of them being sneaking around behind me there, maybe.
We have some dynamite footage coming up for you a little bit later. Oh, look at that gal. She is a little one, but you can't believe how tough she is. Look at that heave. Beautiful with that arm drag, Dave.
Against Brandon Baxter, nobody we'd rather see her be successful against, I don't think. Here comes Karen. Boy, talk about that Brandon Baxter. Here's a kid who arrives in the USWA making all kind of noise, and now with a Smoky Mountain USWA feud that's been going on, this guy turns out to be taking sides on the wrong way, apparently.
Yeah, we've got a couple of them around like that aren't endearing themselves to anybody around here. Whoa, big elbow drops down on Karen. She's trying to make a tag on Brandon. Brandon doesn't seem to be struggling too hard. He says, no, I'm going to let you go back out there and tag. And finally, he forces Brandon Baxter to make the tag, and he climbs by. I think he's had all of Miss Texas already. He wants.
Yeah, what a guy, though, refusing the tag. I mean, you just don't do that in a tag team match, and that's what it is. Brandon and Karen as a tag team against Miss Texas, who has no partner. She's wrestling as a single against the both of them. But Brandon Baxter was pretty well worked over by Miss Texas early. Look at that right there. Drove the shoulder into the midsection. Feels him across the ring as she flipped him. Now she goes after him. Down to the mat goes Brandon Baxter. Wow, what a move by Miss Texas.
Miss Texas kind of putting a Frankensteiner on Brandon, and Uptown Karen jumps into the ring as he rolled over to the corner to make the tag, and she's taking advantage of the exertion she had on that big move on Brandon, and now, look at that, good night. Referee Bill Rush steps right in there on top of the spot, saying, let go of the hair, quit gouging the eyes. Okay, you didn't say anything about choking, did you?
I'll tell you what, Uptown Karen jumped in there quickly after the tag. She didn't hesitate after Brandon Baxter went to the corner. She seems to have been having at least some success, although she was having to do it with the eye gouging and the choking. Here's Baxter coming back now.
He drops down on Miss Texas, and he goes for the throat great. Yeah, boy, that shows how tough you are. You're a real wrestler. Pounds in with a right hand right to the head of Miss Texas. She was the one that was all for this handicap match, so as Dave said, she could keep an eye on both of them. And Brandon Baxter, who takes plenty of time to show off that incredible physique of his. Tag back to Uptown Karen.
Karen again goes for the choke. She jumps right into action. Both hands wrapped around Miss Texas' throat. Miss Texas has been slowed considerably by this onslaught of the two, with the choking, the hair pulling, and the eye gouging.
We'll say, in fact, that for the short time she misses the elbow drop, short time she's been in professional wrestling, Uptown Karen has shown a lot of good traits. Unfortunately, she was schooled by Downtown Bruno. And right off the bat, that's going to put you on the wrong track. Now they got him open there, and look at it, Miss Texas flail away. Nails Baxter again with a fifth, and the referee says, I've told her, and she just keeps hammering the shoulder into the midsection of Uptown Karen in the corner.
Miss Texas really working on Uptown Karen. Now flips her out of the corner back to the center of the ring. Referee still trying to get Brandon Baxter out back in the corner. Miss Texas drives that shoulder.
Look at over here, Dave.
Downtown Bruno sneaking in the ring. What's he got in his hand? Oh, he's got a bunch of powder there.
He powders Miss Texas, blinds her while the referee is trying to get Baxter out. Karen takes her up 1, 2, 3. And that's going to be a victory for all three of them. Uptown Karen, Brandon Baxter, and Downtown Bruno, who got the job done with a handful of powder, where the other two had no success when they were trying to wrestle with her whatsoever.
And Miss Texas is saying to the referee, can't you see what just went on here? And he's not allowing it, apparently. It looks like the decision's going to stand.
Well, there's another great win for Brandon Baxter and friends.
2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, 3-on-1 this time. You're just outdoing yourself all the way.
You know what, Lance Russell? You're not going to ruin my day. I got some of the best news of my life last week.
Oh, you did?
Just last night, I got the news, as a matter of fact. You know, right here on television, I want to pledge my allegiance to Smoky Mountain Wrestling. I want to pledge my allegiance to Sandy Scott, to Jim Cornette, to Mark Curtis, and each and every one of the thugs.
Yeah, I can well imagine that you are a real first-class traitor is what you are.
Oh, a traitor. A traitor against the USWA. From the first day I was in the USWA, it's been a conspiracy to try to get rid of me. The USWA has tried to shut the mouth of Brandon Baxter, and as of yet, Geese, it has not happened, as is obvious. Last night I was sitting at home, and I got a phone call from Jim Cornette and from Mark Curtis. And they said that they took care of PG-13, that they just might have ended the careers of PG-13 last night in Knoxville, Tennessee. So you know what? I told him, I said, send me a tape. I said, I want to see it firsthand. I've got a messenger right now waiting at the airport, and coming up to this television station very soon will be a tape of PG-13's last night in wrestling.
Yeah, well, okay. I, for some reason, don't believe everything he says, but I do believe this. We'll be back with big action coming up in just a moment. Well, I tell you, I listen to guys like this Brandon Baxter who comes over here and says he's pledged his allegiance to Bill.
I think, yeah, I know they threw the powder in her face. I'm reversing decision. Texas wins.
Miss Texas wins it by disqualification. All right, well, the day's gotten brighter already, and here comes Downtown Bruno and Uptown Karen going after the referee. I hope that cost you money, Bruno.
Yes,
that's the kind of stuff right there.
We had that on camera. That'll cost him.
Okay, we were talking about the situation with Smoky Mountain, Dave, and it just keeps getting more intense, more intense, more intense. We've got some of the action. Smoky Mountain USWA, share it with you. Take a look at this. The battle goes on until one team, the entire 7 men, are handcuffed to the cage. Once that has been accomplished, the winning team will then have 5 minutes to do with as they choose.
Jimmy Cornette, I've listened to your mouth long enough, and right now I'm going to shove this bed where the sun don't shine.
Brian Christopher going after Jimmy Cornette and Brandon Baxter. Over in the corner, J.C. Ice. Tom Pritchard just took a shot from Wildfire Tommy Rich. Right up above us, Bill Dundee with Pat Tanaka. Brian Lee holding Wolfie D. Tracy Smothers hammered by the Iceman. Robert Gibson with a trash can lid just nailed Dundee. And Billy Jack Hayes pounding on Robert Gibson in the corner. Tom Pritchard just crumpled to his knees with a trash can top. With a chair, the Iceman just got nailed by Buddy Landell. Doug Gilbert goes after Landell with his own special weapon, a walking stick, a cane. Tracy Smothers caught by the King. Set him up and Dundee finished him off with a trash can lid. Remember, each member of one team must be handcuffed in order to win. Tanaka just nailed with a trash can and put to the floor. Wolfie going after Tracy Smothers. Gorgeous George III hammers J.C. Ice. Across the way, one member, Tom Pritchard, has been handcuffed. Across the way, Nature Boy Buddy Landell handcuffed. Tracy trying to climb up and out. Wolfie D after him. Brian Lee, low bridges. Dundee going after Smothers with a trash can lid. Landell, Gorgeous George III, and Tom Pritchard handcuffed. Doug Gilbert handcuffed on the far side. Referee Bill Rush up checking those who are handcuffed. Once again, Gorgeous George III. Gilbert going after Robert Gibson. He's loose. Pritchard handcuffed. Landell handcuffed. Gorgeous George III. Tommy Rich with a chair. Brian Lee with a chair. Lawler after Tanaka with a metal chair. J.C. Ice trying to finish off Gorgeous George III, who is handcuffed. Lawler and Tanaka in a duel. Brian Lee trying to be handcuffed by Tommy Ritchie. Got him! Prime time! Handcuffed over here on the side. Bill Dundee handcuffed on the far side of the ring.
Tracy Smothers taking J.C. Ice over. He's got him handcuffed. Lawler going after Tanaka. He got him handcuffed. But Smothers goes after Lawler. Robert Gibson handcuffed. Wolfie D handcuffed. Lawler, Billy Jack Haynes, Tracy Smothers, Wildfire Tommy Rich still loose and battling away. USWA with the lead at the moment. Smothers going after Lawler's wrist. He's got him over on the side. Lawler got loose. He was not handcuffed. Smothers still trying to rattle him up over there. Lawler with a trash can hammering away. Billy Jack Haynes, Lawler, Wildfire, Tommy Rich, and Tracy Smothers, the only one of Smoky Mountain loose. And now Lawler breaks free again. Brandon Baxter leaps up on the cage. Brian Christopher's got him by the pants leg, chasing him with a ball bat. And just buried him on the floor. Tracy Smothers up in the ring with Billy Jack Haynes and Wildfire Tommy Rich and Jerry Lawler finally handcuffed. Doug Gilbert grabs a chair. Now it's Gilbert, Rich, Haynes, all of them against Tracy Smothers. Gilbert attacking with a chair, and Tracy rips him. Gilbert back outside, caught by primetime Brian Lee and Robert Gibson. In the ring, Tracy Smothers with Wildfire Tommy Rich and Billy Jack Haynes after him. Smothers jabbed with a chair, nailed over the head. And Tracy Smothers staggered. Down he goes. Doug Gilbert was handcuffed by Prime Time and Robert Gibson. Smothers still fighting to stay alive up there. Rich down on the floor, slams Smothers into the ring, the cage. Tommy. Whoa, and Billy Jack just dusted him. And takes one back from Tracy. And Rich hammered. Now Smothers after Haynes. Tommy Rich runs Smothers over. And the handcuffs are going around while Haynes holds him. Tracy Smothers handcuffed. So the winners are going to be the USWA with all of Smoky Mountain handcuffed to the ring. And now it's Rich and Haynes, the only two that survived the handcuffs, as the rest of USWA. 5 minutes. The winners get 5 minutes with the losers. USWA will get 5 minutes. And what? Billy Jack Haynes jumps Tommy Rich. Hands a handcuff key down to Brian Lee, who is undoing Tracy Smothers. Rich caved on the floor. Doug Gilbert after him. Christopher flies into the ring after Billy Jack. Smothers it loose. Brian Christopher, the keeper of the key, fired in there. Gilbert collapsed to his knees as Smothers is loose. Christopher down on the floor. Primetime Brian Lee after him.
Watch his shoulder. For crying out loud.
Get his back in it. That's down to 5. Down to 5. Get his back out. Down to 5 now. Down to 5.
Robert Gibson loose. Pat Tanaka loose. Buddy Landell now loose. As Billy Jack Haynes helped get them all loose. Smoky Mountain lost it. They were the ones that got handcuffed. USWA was supposed to have 5 minutes with them all handcuffed. Doug Gilbert hammered down to the mat by Tracy Smothers after him. Gorgeous George loose and going after Wolfie D. The King being assaulted by primetime Brian Lee.
Come on, you guys. Enough's enough in there, for crying out loud. Well, Billy Jack is the kind of guy you just can't really ever trust. He talks about putting fear. One of the things I fear about him is he's never telling the truth. Let's take a listen now and hear what Billy Jack had to say about this whole situation.
Let me have your attention. Billy Jack Haynes speaking here. I don't want any fan to ever come up to me and ask for an autograph again. I said before, pro wrestling is the toughest sport going in any sport in history. And I'm the kingpin of the sport. Not Jerry Lawler, not Brian Christopher, not Sid Vicious, nobody but me. So look in the camera, look at me, and I'm telling you right to your face, I'm the baddest thing going in the USWA. Now all you ignorant idiots out there who thought for 1 second that I would jump on the side of the fence, you really got a surprise, didn't you? I had you all fooled, you ignorant food stamp freaks. Well, just look in my eyes, because eyes don't lie. I took out Brian Christopher with the broken shoulder. I took out Sid Vicious with the ruptured neck. And I'll take out any man that wants to step into the squared circle of pro wrestling. Because I'm a street fighter, a boxer, and a pro wrestler combined. And baby, I got a mental problem. So when you get in there with me, no matter where, why, when, I'm going to take you out. So park an ambulance in the back. And I don't care who it is, you're going to take a ride on it.
Boy, I got to tell you, the intensity, as we said earlier, it keeps building and building, and it's just these thugs, of course, this is prejudicial. I'll say that for a fact, because USWA, you better believe that we're going to feel that way about it. But I've never seen anything like what these guys... yeah.
My messenger just brought this from the airport. It's a tape of what happened last night in Knoxville. It's the demise of PG-13. It's the demise of the USWA. I want you to take this to whoever you have to take it to, whatever higher up you have to take it to, and get it aired right now. I want to watch it right now.
I'll tell you one thing we'll take it to right now is, no, you're not going to see it now. We're going to have this preview.
That's what I brought it here for.
Yeah, I wouldn't put this on the air for anything without having preview. Let's take a break and we'll be back.
What are you
No,
talking
you
about?
don't hear it now. Listen, man, we
Why
gotta
don't
get
you
it.
people shut your mouths, huh?
Talking about shutting your mouth, you don't have to come out here hollering like you're running everything here.
Are we about ready to show this
Well,
thing?
just wait a minute. I'm
sure-
going to have to find out from the producer up there whether we can show it. Anybody looked at the tape as yet?
I'm sure Eddie Marlin doesn't want to see it.
Just wait a
Forrest
minute.
Gump, Randy Hales doesn't want to see it, but I want to see
Yeah.
it. Now, show the tape.
Okay. Hey, if you will just be quiet for a minute, I'll tell you. The producer has said they've looked at the tape, Some of it is a little graphic. Some of it they're not going to show, but they will run the tape, so let's get ready. This comes out. We haven't seen this as yet. This will be our first time, Dave. Let's take a look at it right now, coming in from Smoky Mountain and what happened to PG-13.
Civic Coliseum, where Smoky Mountain Wrestling has just promoted the greatest night in professional wrestling history, the Super Bowl of Wrestling. And PG-13 has successfully defended their USWA tag team title belts, but I might add, under some very questionable circumstances tonight.
Now, I don't know about questionable, but all I know is the USWA and Smoky Mountain got a little conflict. Now, Smoky Mountain wrestlers come to our company, and we treat them with respect and knowledge, and they come to take our USWA titles, and they still don't have them. But now we come to Knoxville, to your Smoky Mountain organization, to defend our titles, and we walk out of there the champions that we are, JC Ice and Wolfie D, which makes PG-13, Jack. You tell them, Wolf.
That's right. See, now wait a minute.
What are you doing here?
Hey,
What do you want?
Hey, you're in our back.
Take a look at that now! Take a look at that! The big USWA Tag Team Champions! You ain't gonna make combat in a cage, punks! Because that's what happens! That's what happens!
Yeah, we are... This is what we'd warned, that it's a little gripe. That's Cornette running his mouth. Yeah, killing it. Well, that's just why they're called thugs. As Wolfie D and PG-13, who were scheduled to be here today, and we'd gotten a call, and now I understand why. Heavenly Bodies and Cornette, and they're all jumping in. Mark Curtis, all getting their share of it when they've got them outnumbered 4-2 or even more than that. Wolfie D.
There you go.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, that's enough of that. They beat up on him, but that makes you proud, right?
I love that. I bet Casper the Ghost Randy Hales doesn't like it, but I could care less what he likes. You see, PG-13, you mess with Smoky Mountain, the greatest wrestling organization in the world, and you get messed up.
Lousy traitor.
Right now, I want to bring out the newest member of the Legend Slayers. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Pat Tanaka.
Why don't you and Tanaka head over to Smoky Mountain and just join up with them full time? We wouldn't miss you one bit in here. We've got Pat Tanaka coming out with Doug Gilbert. Boy, I got to tell you, there's just something about...
Gilbert, he might as well not come out here unless he wants to get hurt.
I don't worry about Doug Gilbert. He can take care of himself. We've had a lot of problems with him right here, David and I have, but I'll tell you, at least the son of a gun has enough loyalty to represent the group that he's with. Here he comes, Dangerous Doug Gilbert.
There he is. He doesn't seem to be backing up one step from Pat Tanaka, the newest member of the Legend Slayers, managed by Brandon Baxter.
You speak of a traitor, you speak about Doug Gilbert.
What? Brandon Baxter yelling, you speak of a traitor. Oh, I know what he's talking about. He's talking about the fact that he and Doug used to sort of be together, but not anymore. Brandon Baxter in the corner of Pat Tanaka. Tanaka with a reverse. Whips Doug Gilbert into the turnbuckle.
Who is a martial arts expert himself, just got caught by an extended sidekick from Doug Gilbert, and Gilbert fired up and ready for this confrontation.
Great move as Doug Gilbert suckered him into the corner. He was hanging in the corner like he was hurt, and all of a sudden when Tanaka came after him, boom, that sidekick came out, and Tanaka still trying to recover from that as Doug Gilbert stalks around the ring. There's Brandon Baxter with a few words for Pat Tanaka, words of encouragement probably to say, hey, go ahead, get back in there. Tanaka taking his own good time. Now back up on the ring apron and through the ropes. Doug Gilbert dancing around the ring waiting for it.
Gilbert, who is really looking ready Love to see it when an athlete primed and ready to go into action, and that definitely is the way Gilbert has looked today. And Tanaka takes him off, and then a shoulder puts him down. Big elbow, and Tanaka, he's tough. There's no two ways about it. I don't know what happened to him down the middle, though, that he would end up siding with the Smoky Mountain crew, but then maybe it was the influence of Brandon Baxter, Dave.
Oh, I don't have any doubt about it. I think Baxter is the one that convinced him what was going on. It was Baxter's version of it. Bears very little resemblance to the truth. Ooh, big right hand by Tanaka. Doug Gilbert down on the mat. He's down but not out. Tanaka goes to work on him. Doug Gilbert. Back up on his feet now. Tanaka with the kick. Gilbert again down to his knees and hanging back over in the corner as Tanaka grabs the hand.
Tanaka felt the wrath of Gilbert early on, and there's Brandon Baxter choking Gilbert over that bottom rope as he pulls down on his head, with a rope right across his throat. And Tanaka back over, slaps away at him, trying to insult Doug Gilbert. Wrong guy. They don't call him Dangerous Doug for nothing. And look at Gilbert roaring back with lefts and rights. Hammers Tanaka's head into the turnbuckle. And the whip diagonally across the ring. Down he goes. And Doug Gilbert waiting for another shot with him. And Baxter jumps in the ring. Let's disqualify him.
Yep. It's going to be a disqualification, and boy, is Brandon Baxter glad because Doug Gilbert had him. He's still got him. He's got him. He fires him into the rope. Boom! Catches him with the right hand. Baxter wisely rolls to get out of the ring, down on the floor, anywhere away from Doug Gilbert. Doug's going to win it. He's going to win it on a DQ.
Doug Gilbert, the winner. We've got plenty more. Dundee and Lawler together again. Coming up on today's show. Back in a moment. Quality tag action coming up. We have the Gambler and Gorgeous George III going against the King and the Superstar. Gambler off the riverboats of the Mississippi. Gorgeous George III out of Hollywood. Ooh la la, we are ready. On the other side of the ring, two of the most famous names of all tag teams. They held the Southern Tag Team belts when they were called that, longer than any team has ever held them. We're talking about from the land down under, the little Aussie Superstar, Bill Dundee. And wrestling out of Memphis, Tennessee, the King, the unified world heavyweight champion, Jerry Lawler. Referee is Bill Rush. On the outside of the ring, Uptown Karen. And we're about ready to get started. The Gambler will be the opener for that team. And on the other side, Dundee and Lawler. And it'll be Lawler stepping out and Bill starting off.
Superstar Dundee grabbing the left arm of the Gambler. The Gambler tries to reverse. Dundee popped him with the right hand. He's right at the corner. He makes the tag on the King, and he holds the Gambler. Oh, they twist the arms with an opposite direction, and Lawler, with a right hand, pops the Gambler down to the mat. He goes right in the center of the ring. Uptown Karen yelling something at the King from outside. She is a factor to be considered in this one. You got the Gambler, you got Gorgeous George III. Both of them are tough. There is Gorgeous George III coming in right now to face the King. Gambler is still upset over the right fist he took right in the mouth from the King.
Gambler, by all accounts, one of the more improved wrestlers around. I was not in the area when the Gambler first made his appearance, and boy, I'll tell you, everybody is just astounded. This guy is some kind of tough, and he is such a basically sound wrestler. Superstar covering Gorgeous George III. There's another one. has an amateur background, we could spend the rest of the day, but boring. We won't do that. He has been very successful as an amateur. He's in there with Dundee, who also was a top amateur wrestler. Into the ropes, crisscross. Dundee slips out. Dundee going after Uptown Karen. Shook her up, Dave. Dundee has bided his time. He said something to her earlier in the match. We couldn't hear it, but...
Well, she certainly wasn't ready for that.
Yes.
Let's hope that she's off balance enough now that she will stay away from the action and maybe pay more attention to Dundee and see if he's headed out of the ring her way. Gorgeous George III hits the mat. Right hand of the King, put him there. GG3 over to the corner, makes the tag. Here comes the Gambler back in. You know, talking about this Gambler, I've been very impressed. He's wrestled not only here some time ago, but also in other places around the country.
Yes.
Not that impressive, but he's certainly been impressive, as you mentioned, very improved as he's been here. Only problem I have with him is his attitude. I don't like the way the people he hangs out with. I don't like that either. Ooh, big right hand from the King.
Lawler hangs out some right hands pretty often. Boy, he can flail them. And we made the comments before that Lawler's hands are not very large, but they are so thick. And when he pops you with one of those lefts or right, you know you have been popped. There's a left in that case. And the Gambler drops down to one knee. Lawler bounces ahead off the top turnbuckle. And it looks like a bulldog coming up. Oh, yeah! Drove him right down. And goes to Bill.
Bill Dundee, boy, when he comes in, you never know what's going to happen. He is just a ball of energy. He comes rolling through those ropes every time. He staggers the Gambler this time. Hey, he was chasing Karen. Karen saw him coming and started looking for somewhere else to be. Here's Gorgeous George III, and after the tag from the Gambler, he's back Bill into a corner, raked him across the eyes, brings up the forearm. Dundee in a bit of trouble here. Gorgeous George III pops him into the boot of the Gambler. Look out, Gambler's coming in after the tag. They're doubling up on Bill Dundee.
Little change in direction as the Gambler and Gorgeous George III have the momentum. They forced it to swing back their way as the Gambler slams ahead of Dundee into the foot of GG3. And there's the tag. That's what Bill needed. And that comes from working years and years together. Billy didn't hesitate. He wasn't going to get that last shot. He wasn't going to show him he could do it. He did what he should have done. He got the fresh man in there, and Lawler taking GG3 into the ropes. A whip across, shot to the middle, and Dundee rolls it down. 1, 2, 3. That's it.
He got it. The victory for the superstar and the King, Dundee and Lawler. And you had it right there. That comes from working together as a tag team. They took care of business and they got the win.
We've got another tag match scheduled a little later on. If we have time, we'll be getting to it. We'll be back in just a moment. Major large team right here on this side of it. We're looking at primetime Brian Lee at 286, and right at that 300-pound mark, his partner is Johnny Rotten. And, of course, downtown Bruno and Brandon Baxter across the way. It'll be Axel Rotten and T.D. Steele. That's the tag team lineup for our finale here on USWA Championship Wrestling.
Axel Rotten and Johnny Rotten. No, they're not related. Axel Rotten came in here with some kind of reputation. This Johnny Rotten is huge. Over in the corner, Johnny Rotten and Brian Lee, downtown Bruno, and Brandon Baxter. Bruno, what do you want?
I'm just going to tell you right here, just like you said, of course, Axel Rotten and Johnny Rotten are not related because, you see, if they were any kind of kin, they'd be talented in a similar fashion. But they're not because Johnny Rotten is the biggest, strongest master in the USWA. And not only that, he is the master of the power bomb. Keep that in mind, Dave Brown.
I hear you, the master of the power bomb. Well, we kind of consider somebody else to be pretty much the master of the power bomb, but we have seen Johnny Rotten use it, and yeah, he's effective with it. There's no doubt about it.
TD whipped into the rope as he comes off the big foot of Brian Lee. Hammers him right in the face. Will you get out of our hair?
You know what TD stands for? TD stands for too dumb, because he must be too dumb to sign for a match against the master of the power bomb and Brandon Baxter's #1 man, primetime Brian Lee. Look at that right there. Count to 1,000, baby.
He's got the leg hooked into 1 and 2, and that's it. TD gets pinned.
It's like Mama says, it bees that way sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I gotta tell you, these guys are too much. Let's take time out, Dave. We'll come back and we'll have a final in just a moment. Boy, I'll tell you, it's been good today, but that isn't all of it by a long shot. We're going to have a chance. Dave has got some action he wants you to see from around the territory. We always like to do that when we can.
Absolutely.
Listen, Dave, before you get into that, I got one thing I want to talk about, because we're so tickled, and maybe I'm proud because it bears my name in part. Russell Springs, Kentucky, a couple of weeks ago, had USWA as the feature attraction at their fair and drew record crowds. Absolutely blew them out of there.
Yeah, blew away the record. Didn't just beat it that much. Blew it away.
Right, like about twice what they normally draw. The whole point of that is to say we're tickled to death for you folks in that area in there. But it also is a good indication that if you want to see something that gets folks excited, it's the action and all of that excitement of USWA wrestling, and you might give that a thought in your future plans. Now, hey, you had some stuff around.
Yeah, Russell Springs, the town named for you and your family, right? Yeah, Russell Springs, Kentucky. Not only is there great action there, there's great action all around the territory. We have great action for you right here every week when we can, and sometimes not always possible, but we do like to show you some of the great action that happens in the USWA at the various arenas. Take a look right now at just some of the action that's been going on the last few days. Watch.
He goes for the ride across the ring. Sunset flip over the top of the Gigolo. He's reaching desperately for Jim Cornette. Reaching for the doctor. JC's got him down. Oh, the Gigolo kicks out on the 1 count. The big super kick to the side of the head, actually more to the cheekbone, just under the right eye of JC Ice. The Gigolo taunting the Wolfman, forcing him into the ring. Of course, that forces TD Steele to make him leave, taking the opportunity for the people on the outside of the ring to interfere. Tom Pritchard, the repeated elbow to the throat of JC Ice. Referee trying to make sure that it's a legal hold there, not a choke hold. The Iceman trying to work his way back, inch by inch, towards... Oh no, TD Steele's distracted by Gigolo Jimmy Del Rey. Wolfie D had the tag made on him, but I don't know if TD Steele saw the tag. No, from his actions, I would say he did not see the tag. The Heavenly Bodies take JC Ice and slam him backwards 1, 2, 3 times into the turnbuckle, 3 times, and the big fist from the Gigolo. Wolfie very upset in the corner, but again, TD can't call what he doesn't see. JC Ice is out on his feet, trying to regain his composure here at the hands of the Heavenly Bodies. Gigolo Jimmy Del Rey into the small package. JC Ice converts it, and Gigolo kicks out of it. Ice isn't sure which corner he's in. He makes the tag to Dr. Tom Pritchard. Iceman falls back, and here comes Wolfie D. The fist to the Gigolo, the fist to Dr. Tom. One more and another one for your trouble. He's pummeling both of these guys, bringing them together. The meeting of the minds. Right there in the middle of the ring, the Heavenly Bodies head-to-head. Gigolo gets the big punch from Sir Wolfie D. Dr. Tom Pritchard set up for the ride across the ring. He reverses it, however. The DDT on Dr. Tom Pritchard. Sir Wolfie D, 1, 2, and the Gigolo interferes. JC Ice pummeling the Gigolo in the corner. Dr. Tom Pritchard sneaks up behind him. The instructions of Jim Cornette throws JC out of the ring to Cornette. takes an opportunity to put the foot in his chest. Heavenly Body's got Sir Whoopi D. A double ride across the ring. A double back body drop. Oh, man, they almost hit the ring lights. Gigolo Jimmy Del Rey doing the patented PG-13 wave there and show of disrespect. JCI takes out the knee of Dr. Tom Pritchard. And we got the win. Your winners and still tag team champions, PG-13. JCI Sir Whoopi D taking the tag.
We don't, you know, this is fun for us too because we don't get to every one of the
That's
towns
true.
and get a chance, and we get an opportunity to see some of the action
there.
otherwise.
And you talk about great action arenas, and right here, scheduled here today, we had PG-13, but due to a situation that happened last night, they were injured by the Heavenly Bodies, and they're not able to be here. But I guarantee you, in the arenas, there's a match you'll be seeing: PG-13 against the Heavenly Bodies.
You don't think they'll forget all about it?
No, absolutely not. No way.
Not on your life. We got to get out of here. Corey will be back next week. For Dave Brown, Lance Russell saying, have good health, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
The announcers on this program are selected and paid by parties other than this station, namely the promoters of USWA Championship Wrestling.